Hey everyone, it's your boy Anomander coming at you with the very first Borderlands 3 build video. Today I'm going to be going over what I like to call Murdercane Zane. It takes a big advantage of the Butcher shotgun after the buffs that it got in I believe it was the last patch that they actually uploaded. Um, so we're going to go over the equipment a little bit here first. So to have the whole sort of Murdercane effect, I was thinking Force of Nature, but I thought that sounded more like an Amara build, so I went with Murdercane instead. But basically, we're taking advantage of pretty much every element using next two mags, since with the buff to the Butcher, you pretty much never have to reload, so you can get that bonus all the time. So main reason I've got here one for incendiary, one for radiation, one for corrosive. I also have a URAD one here. I'll go over that one in a little bit, but basically the corrosive and the incendiary ones are only really here for Hemovorous and Vermivorous. Um, the biggest problem with this build is it is slow for something like the raid. Because we have some health regen, some life steal, you can survive the raid no problem. But the main problem is it's going to take you at least 5 minutes or so to be able to get a kill in there. Um, so it's definitely not the fastest for raid kills, but for stuff like the takedown, as you'll see in a few minutes here, um, this just blasts through everything, no problem whatsoever. Um, I do still have a lower damage Butcher for the radiation one, but this is actually the one I use most of the time. It's just for like generic mobbing, just to get those extra explosions. And they definitely help with your clear speed. Class mod, I definitely don't have a god roll here. The only thing on this that helps me out is the 64% weapon critical damage, but or Hyperion weapon critical damage, and since we are using the Hustler, 90% of our hits are going to be criticals, so that's the only reason that I'm using this one. There was another one that I have that I won't be including here. It was like 35% weapon damage. That one did almost as much, but because of the amount of crits that we're getting, this one was the better one there. We are using a Hyperion Company man. Again, it's not quite a god roll. I could have a little bit higher fire rate on it. Could have radiation damage or uh, cryo damage, either or on here instead of incendiary would be better for all-purpose sort of things. It doesn't do too bad against Hemovorous. It helps us out a little bit there with the incendiary, but other than that, it's definitely not a god roll either. You can change that out for an Atom Bomb Deathless, and this is the reason why I have the one URAD Butcher. My only problem with this is if you do that, this one's got the double radiation damage on it, so it just increases your rad explosions by a ridiculous amount, and it just makes them nuke the entire battlefield. Especially if you were to combine this with a Hustler mod with splash radius on it, you could basically turn this into a Boar Explosion Zane build, similar to Moxie's. The main difference being you're not actually using a splash weapon to create the splash effects. You'd be using the radiation explosions. My biggest problem with this is I found I was just downing myself like every 10 seconds using it. You can throw on a red suit to counter that. However, you lose a lot of your damage because we are using an action skill start Revolter, and that gives us a lot, 200% shock damage plus all that fire rate. So it's a lot of damage to lose out on. You can still kill quite quickly with it, but again, you do have to have that damage trade-off to not be able to kill yourself repeatedly very quickly. Other than that, for grenades, I've got Knit's Piss. I've got one for ASC Corrosive, one for ASC Incendiary. I just switch them back and forth. Again, mainly just there for the raid. Everything else dies too quickly for it to be worth using. And that skill tree is fairly simple. For Red Tree, we don't really need anything in here besides the Premunitus. But since we are taking advantage of that mag size, throw a couple extra points in there to get up to Donnybrook. Gives us massive amounts of gun damage, as well as throw 1 point in here in Duct Tape mod. Just because it does give us that chance to throw out the odd It's Piss grenade for free, which doesn't mean a whole lot, but I had a couple extra points, so I threw one in here. You could definitely put this into something else if you wanted to. If you find you are going down more often, you could throw this into Salvation. Make this a 5 out of 5. You don't really need 5 out of 5 here, I don't think. If you find yourself getting downed more often, then maybe the extra point would help a little bit, but we do have lots of life steal and health regen from other sources, so you shouldn't actually need it. For Blue Tree, we're going, of course, Violent Speed, Violent Momentum, Cool Hand. Seeing Red's must have. Going 5 points into Violent Violence. We want all that fire rate we can get. We don't need anything in Playing Dirty because, we're constantly activating our kill skills, but considering the Butcher's already ×3, just getting it up to a ×4 once in a while, a chance of it, doesn't really matter that much. We're only using the Mantis Cannon, so you don't need anything Good Misfortune. Main reason I even have 4 points into Salvation is really just to get down to Death Follows Close. Otherwise, I would just have it at 1 point, but nothing else in the tree I felt was worth it. So, and then for Purple Tree, we're pretty much maxing it out here. Basically, I put 2 points in here, 2 points in here, just to even things out a little bit. 3 in Renegade for that extra health regen. Main reason I put 2 points in Mana Focus was, again, just to fill out the tree a little bit to be able to get down to our man Flint. 1 in Fugitive, just because being able to sprint and shoot, we can move even faster, get extra gun damage from Violent Speed, or Violent Momentum, whatever it is. Domino Effect for extra fire rate and reload speed. And of course, we want 3 points in Eraser just because more damage. Because we are going to be critting all the time with Hustler, we might as well have it because it's going to help us out a lot. And then, of course, our man Flint. Now, the 25% damage bonus is nice, but the main reason we're actually picking this up is to automatically apply the status effect when we get a critical hit. So basically, this allows us to insta-freeze anything. So you could technically change out the artifact for an Icebreaker Victory Rush, or an Icebreaker anything else if you really wanted to. I just find it, Icebreaker, you can only get yourself like 100-105% extra damage, whereas like with a decent company man like this, I'm basically getting 140% damage bonus plus the bottom passives, so there's just more damage bonus there. And to use up the rest of our points, I got some in the green tree here just to give us some extra shield capacity, shield rate, shield delay, and 1 point in here just for some health regen. Again, these ones, you could definitely put them into blue tree, purple tree, wherever else you want. Main reason I put them in here is because I found doing true takedown, I was going down like a lot without any health regen. So they definitely help with your survivability a little bit. On that note, for survivability, you could also run with a Mesmer grenade. The main reason I was doing that for a while, main reason I stopped is because I found when I'd use it on an anointed enemy, they would just be immune to my attacks, and it would actually wind up taking me longer to clear an area. But anyways, that's all the skills and gear for the build. So now we're going to jump into a true takedown here. and you can see a little bit of the mobbing potential. So we're going to be using our radiation, which is the lower damage version of the Butcher, next to Mag's radiation. And of course our action skill start Revolter, and you'll be able to see that this thing just absolutely destroys here. You can't even really see it on the ratchets just because everything dies so fast, but once we get into the base you can actually see it a bit better. I could actually hit the guy. Like, pretty much everything just dies, like, instantaneously. Oh yeah, actually that's one thing I forgot to go over. For our action skill, for our Mantis Cannon, we are using the, oh, come on, Brain Drain, just so that we can get more charges back. Chances are most of the time we're not actually going to kill with it, but it does happen once in a while, and we want to have those extra 2 charges so that you can get the damage maxed out, especially on those first couple of shots. And that definitely does help. I'd say probably at least every minute or 2 I'll get a kill with it, and you definitely notice the charges coming back right away, so it does help out. And you will go down quite a bit, but unlike some other Zane builds, you can get yourself back up fairly easily, I find. It's very rare I actually wind up dying. Like, when you do go down, you do lose that bit of fire rate, but the Butcher is just so good after that last buff that you can get yourself up with it pretty much no problem. Ooh, I might actually be in trouble here. Nope. Got him. Seems like I only just reloaded for the very first time, so you can see the ammo effect that got buffed on that last patch is just crazy on this thing. So see, we can pretty much just melt down the Kraken here. If I had killed a couple of the other guys before they got further away from it, this thing would have died way faster. Like if I kill this guy, maybe. He's a little out of range. Now, if you kill a couple of the smaller guys right beside him with that radiation explosion, that explosion will just take him right out. Alright. And we are playing on True Vault Hunter mode here, so that's why I do prefer using the radiation, just because it's good for pretty much everything. And again, I do have that extra ASE corrosive, just in case. I do need it for I'll probably use it here on the Valkyries, for example, just because these guys are a bit slow to go down. I don't know why their health is already partly down. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
You picked the wrong battle.
So you'll see it's not the fastest but for bossing, but it goes through it just fine. The main thing is this build is a lot of fun. Oh, just my radiation one here. Oh, of course this has to be repulses too, eh? Oh, come on. Oh, come on, get your shield out of the way. This is the other reason that I sometimes find it better off with a... Oh, I'm gonna go down here. You may be better off with an Icebreaker Victory Rush on, just in case you do go down in those times. It does get you a bit of that extra damage bonus for while you are down. Yeah, again, that's a True Takedown, Mayhem 11, True Vault Hunter mode. If we, do the classic, go to Athenas, what is it? You'll be able to see it. This build just absolutely destroys regular mobs running through a Mayhem 11. If you do feel like playing on Mayhem 10, you can run with pretty much anything. I always try to avoid post-mortem. It just annoys me. I find myself forgetting about it way too often. Speed Demon is of course always really nice, just for that extra movement speed. But if you don't need the extra movement speed, Loot Explosion is always fun. Or More Than Okay Boomer is also a good one. Like, you see these guys, it's just nothing survives. Like, I honestly feel bad for these guys. I think these guys probably get shit on more than any other enemies in the game. Because everybody seems to go here to test their build, and I have no idea why. But as you can see, I ran through the entirety of True Vault Hunter mode using this build, and I think I blasted through the story in like 2 hours. Like, it was just insane clear speeds. This whole area here. And of course, using this build, you can use pretty much any weapon. Main reason I use the Butcher is just so that you don't have to worry about reloading. But if you wanted to, you could definitely use this with Light Show. Would be really good. Plasma Coil is of course good on like anything. Personally, for bossing, a Tizzy can work really well. But if you're going to be using the Tizzy with this build, you definitely need to keep yourself a Cut Purse Launchpad on ya. Like, I tried Tizzy's just to help with the raid boss, and I went through all 1200 ammo in them in like probably 30 seconds flat. Like, the fire rate is just insane when you combine all of Zane's kill skills plus the Revolter effect. Like, your ammo is just gone. Using something like the Tizzy, it just gets faster and faster and faster. Like, when I was trying out the Tizzy, literally the sound of firing the gun just stops after about a half a second. And it's just going. Like, that's just how fast it was firing. He's doomed. Boom, there he goes. Alright. I'll just run over to Trant here really quick. Alright, now you can see just how quickly you can take out a regular boss. I wasn't even aiming for his crit spot. Holy crap. That was a lot of legendaries. Nice. But yeah, so for regular bosses, playing through story mode and whatnot, this build just annihilates everything. For the raid, it's definitely not the fastest build. Like I would definitely say for raid, you're gonna want to go for a one-shot build, and this isn't definitely not a one-shot build. But for mobbing, I would say this is probably the most fun I've had with any build on any character. I would say it's even more fun than playing Immortal Moe's was before they nerfed it. Just because, like, with your health regen with this is just so stupid crazy that you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to stay alive. Like, I can be sitting there in the raid shooting at Hemovorus, and he's hitting me with everything he's got, and my health's just going up and down, 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 like, just crazy. Like, you'd be sitting there wondering how I'm not dying. Oh, hi. Bye-bye. Yeah, everyone, that is Murdercane Zane. Let's get away from these enemies so we can actually talk here. So that is Murdercane Zane. If you guys have any suggestions for bossing solutions for this build, like I've tried Plague Bears, I've tried just about everything it seems, and it just doesn't quite do it for me. Like complex route. The kick charger is one thing I haven't actually looked for yet, so that's still a possibility. Might go with like a next 2 mags kick charger. Throw on a toboggan or something. Would probably be able to get you to one-shot bosses. But other than that, that has been Murdercane Zane. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.